So let's get started heading to our mats in child's pose. I'll take off my socks real quick. And let your child's pose be comfortable. If you want to take the knees wide, take the knees wide. If you want the knees to be close together, have the knees close together. And then same thing with the arms, you could stretch them forward. If that doesn't feel good on the shoulders, you can reach them back. We'll just take a few minutes here to settle, arrive to our mats, and just check in with the body today. Start to breathe a little bit slower, a little bit deeper. About 3 breaths. Okay, so from child's pose, let's pull the body forward into tabletop, stacking wrists underneath shoulders and knees underneath hips. And just begin to flex and extend the spine, so cat and cow. And then continue checking with the breath, and you might even synchronize the breath to the movement of the body, right? So maybe inhaling, allow the belly to drop and the heart to pull forward. Maybe exhaling to arch the spine up towards the ceiling, tucking the chin in. Twice more. Time. Good, so from tabletop, we'll extend the right leg back. Okay, and then spin the sole of the right foot to the mat. And really press down through your left hand as you rotate right shoulder and right arm up towards the ceiling. So you're in a supported side plank. Left palm, left knee, and sole of the right foot are your base. Big breath in here. Reach that right arm overhead, bicep alongside the ear. So you're creating this rainbow-like arch through the side body. One more breath in. And then on your breath out, right palm plants, right knee back into its place. Second side, left leg, extend that back. Spin the sole of the left foot to the mat, so you're stacking that hip. And then stack the shoulders as you reach the left arm high. Breath in here. Breath out, sweep that left arm overhead, biceps kind of hovering above the ear. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Come back to tabletop. We're going to warm up the wrists because we'll be moving through a lot of side plank variation. And it's important to make sure that the wrists are ready for that. So let's first start by flipping the palms up towards the armpits. Palm is facing the armpit. Fingertips are pointing towards the knees. And you can go ahead and start to rock back and forth. You can let the heel or the back of the wrist peel away from the mat. And then come forward, begin to draw circles. So I'm just drawing a circle like with my torso, shoulders and hips, that box of the torso, drawing circles. Okay, let's flip the palms back to facing the mat and then rotate the fingertips towards the knees. Working with a different part of the wrist, rocking first back to front. And as you rock back to front, the heel of the hand can peel away from the mat. It certainly peels away from the mat for me. See if you can get a little bit more of the hand on the mat, plant that, and then begin to draw those circles. And maybe if you remember which direction you started in, maybe you go the opposite direction now. Okay. If you can't remember, usually it's the side that is non-dominant or feels more awkward. Now we'll curl the toes under, sit back on the heels, a little bit of a toe squat to open up the soles of the feet, Sitting back here, just shake out the wrist. If that's too much on the feet, you can always stand up on the knees as you shake the wrist out. Front to back, side to side, just give them a nice, good, vigorous shake. Wake up the arms. Okay, so we're gonna have some non-traditional movement in our Vinyasa flow today. You're welcome to watch me. I just wanna demo this couple of movements really quick. So from downward facing dog, first non-traditional movement will be, it's like you're sitting cross-legged in a chair. So I'm gonna wrap my right thigh on top of my left thigh. You could consider this eagle legs or sitting cross-legged in a chair. Keeping the legs crossed, I'll shift forward into high plank. Roll to a side plank, so I'm on the inner edge of my left foot, my right hand's my base, my left arm's high. And then we'll add on, so I'll invite you to extend that right leg straight out of the hip, and then set down, forward fold over the back left leg. That's the first non-traditional movement you'll see. Second one is a variation on pigeon, which is an active pigeon, so it's more upright. So what I want you to pay attention to with this pigeon version is the direction the toes and the knees are pointing. You want them going in the same direction. So I'll demo with my right foot forward. My right heel is gonna lift. I'm gonna stay up on my fingertips. And then as I shift down and forward, I'm staying active. So I'm pressing through the ball mound of my feet. I'm letting this hamstring kind of relax towards the calf, and you don't have to come down as far as me. You can stay up a little bit higher. Okay, so that's second non-traditional movement. All right, so we'll get to those in a minute, but let's meet in downward facing dog. Settle into your first down dog. We'll take about 3 breaths here. Feel free to bend the knees right and left. Let your head relax. Deep belly breath. Start that Ujjayi breath. Let's walk our hands backwards, meet the feet at the back of the mat. Uttanasana, forward fold. And from your forward fold, walk your fingertips up the shins, lengthen out, halfway lift. Little bend in your knees here. Feel the neck long, shoulders slide down the back, join your hands together at your heart. Feel your navel hug up into your spine. Press down into your feet, stand up nice and tall. Tadasana. Reach the arms forward and up. Big breath in. Breath out, fold. Walk your hands forward all the way until you reach high plank. Pause in your high plank. Heel bones back, crown of the head forward, strong arms. Lower the knees to the mat. Come all the way onto your belly. 3 rounds of dynamic low cobra. Press down through the tops of the feet, the hands, the pubic bone. As you inhale, pull the heart forward and up. As you exhale, lower. You can let your forehead touch the mat. Twice more. Inhale, lifting, pressing the floor away. Exhale, lower. One more time. So let your forehead touch as you exhale and release. Curl your toes under. Option to press up to high plank or tabletop. And then downward facing dog. All right, so first, little bit here. Right leg lifts from down dog. And then sweep that right thigh on top of the left thigh. So it's like you're sitting cross-legged in that chair in your downward facing dog. Okay, so squeeze the inner thighs together, tight, tight, tight. Keep that. Shift forward, high plank. If that's feeling okay on the knees, spin to the inner edge of your left foot. Right hand is the base, left arm's lifting high. So you're in side plank with your legs crossed. You can always unwind that right knee and set it down for supported side plank as well. Okay, let's pivot back to high plank, left palm down, hips rise, normalize down dog. Breath in, Breath out. Second side, inhale, left leg lifts. And then exhale, sweep the left leg all the way on top of the right thigh. Squeeze the thighs together. So keep that crossing of the legs. Shift into your high plank. Try rolling to the inner edge of your right foot. Left palm is your base. Right arm's reaching high. Legs are crossed. Or you're unwinding and setting the left knee to the mat for supported side plank. And then let's come back through high plank. Right palm down. Legs are still crossed, maybe. Normalize down dog. Uncross the legs. Breath in. Breath out. Okay, so let's add on to that flow. Right leg lifts. Big breath in. And then wind the right thigh on top of the left thigh. Keep that. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Shift forward, high plank. Side plank, rolling to the inner edge of your left foot. Left arm lifts. You know you can always release that right knee down, but if you want a little bit more, see if you can unwind that right leg, extend it straight forward out of the hip socket, and then slowly lower that right hip to the mat. Roll some weight onto your left hip so you're sitting up tall in a wide-legged stance. Then we're going to turn over this left leg facing the back of our mat and fold. It doesn't matter how far you go in this forward fold, so you might be seated upright, just curling the chin into the chest, or hinging from the hips. One more breath here. All right, so leading with the right arm, sweep that right arm up high towards the ceiling. Continue on that trajectory. Plant the right palm at the top of your mat. You're going to come back into the side plank with the support of both feet. So you're rolling to the inner edge of your left foot, outer edge of your right foot. Press down, lift the hips. Left arm high. Supported side plank variation, right? Left palm down. Pull that right knee into the chest. Normalize down dog. Okay, so down dog is your kind of home base. You can always interchange that with child's pose if you need. We'll explore the second side from here. Inhale, left leg, sweep it up and back. And then exhale, left thigh is going to wrap all the way on top of the right thigh. Squeeze those legs together. Keep it tight. Shift forward, high plank. Roll to the inner edge of your right foot, side plank. Right arm lifts. Okay, if you want a little bit more, you can extend that left leg forward. Any amount. And then slowly lower onto the left hip. Roll some weight onto the right hip until the hips are equally weighted. Turn over this right leg. Forward fold. You're facing towards the back of your mat with legs wide. One more breath in here. Remember, it doesn't matter how far you forward fold. You're not looking for a particular depth. Just try to catch your breath here for a moment. Now leading with that left arm, sweep it up high. Plant that left palm at the top of your mat. Position your feet. You're coming into that supported side plank. Roll to the inner edge of your right foot, outer edge of your left foot. Lift the hips. Right arm's reaching for the ceiling. Plant the right palm. High plank variation. And then back to down dog. Breath in. Breath out. Walk the hands back to meet your feet. Uttanasana at the back of your mat. Let your head be heavy. Soft bend in the knees. Fingertips walk up the shins. Lengthen out, find that halfway lift. Long through the neck, root through the feet. Join your hands together at the heart. Come all the way up to standing. Breathe in, sweep the arms forward and up. Breathing out, fold back in. Walk the hands forward until you reach high plank. An option to lower through chaturanga or set the knees down and come onto the belly. Inhale for your back bend of choice. Maybe it's low cobra, upward dog, or even cow. And then exhaling all the way back. Maybe child's pose, maybe down dog. Couple of breaths. When you're ready, meet me in downward facing dog. We'll add on to our sequence. Beginning with the right side, right leg lifted up and back. Give it a big lengthening. And then wrap that right thigh on top of the left thigh. Squeeze those legs together. Shift forward with that. High plank. Pivoting to side plank, inner edge of left foot, right hand. And then lift your left arm. Okay, here's where we add on. Maybe we're extending that left leg forward, unraveling the leg. And then slowly lowering onto the right hip. Bring some weight onto the left hip so that you're neutral. In your upright seat, turn over the back left leg, forward fold. And one more breath in here. Sweep that right arm high, let it lead the way. Plant the palm top of the mat. Pivoting to the feet. Lifting the hips up into that supported side plank. We're going to add on some things here. So left palm plants, hug that right knee into the chest, and then plant the right foot forward at the top of your mat. So you're in a low lunge. Right foot forward, left leg back. Come up onto your fingertips. Let that right foot be wide. So both my hands are inside of my right foot. Now we're going to build side angle, so spin the sole of the left foot down. Keep your right knee bent. You might stay on your right fingertips or even take the forearm to the thigh. And then sweep the left arm up towards the ceiling. Side angle. Breath in. Breath out. Adding on from here, a little challenge option. Lift that right heel up. So you're still in your side angle, but maybe you're just lifting up that right heel a centimeter, a sliver, a millimeter, an inch, whatever you can handle, right? So see about keeping that right heel lifted. Let's pull the torso upright into warrior two. Spread the arms out wide, deep breath in. Deep breath out. Now listen up, we're gonna press into the ball onto that right foot to pivot and transfer the weight to the back left foot into Skandasana. So I'm turning those left toes, bring the hands down, come onto the fingertips. Skandasana at the back of the mat. My Skandasana is not very deep. This version of Skandasana works better for my body. Some people can get all the way down in there. It doesn't work for me. So do what works for your body. Okay, here comes our active pigeon pose. This is our modified pigeon. So pay attention to your feet. You're going to start to turn your left toes to the upper left-hand corner, facing the back of your mat. Right, so you're facing the back of your mat, turning your left toes to the left-hand corner, and then lifting the left heel up, still on your fingertips. And your right leg's like in that low lunge stance, right? So your right heel's towards the ceiling, that heel is lifted too. You're on your fingertips, you're active through the legs. Check out the direction of the toes, the left toes and the left knee, they're in the same direction. One more breath in here. Now see if you can plant those palms and step the left foot back. high plank. Option to move through Vinyasa here. You know you can modify your Vinyasa in any way that suits you. And you can always skip your Vinyasa. Make it your own. Let's meet in downward facing dog when you're ready for second side. Take your time getting there. Settle in for a couple of breaths. From downward facing dog, lift your left leg up and back. Nice big opening. And then sweep that left leg on top of the right thigh. Squeeze those legs together. See if you can keep that shifting forward into your high plank. You're rolling to the inner edge of your right foot. Left palm is your base, right arm's reaching up. If you want that challenge, unwind the legs, extend that left foot forward straight out of the hip socket. Give yourself a nice slow elevator ride down to that left hip. Now roll some weight onto that right hip so your hips are equally weighted. Turn over that front right leg, fold. Forward folding here for a few breaths. Good, and then leading with that left arm, stretch it up, up, up. Plant that palm, left palm, at what now is the top of your mat. Basically, we've like reversed, right? So back of your mat, top of your mat, however you want to think about it. Left palm plants. Roll to the inner edge of your right foot, outer edge of your left foot. Lift your hips. You're in that supported side plank. Right arm lifts. And then right palm comes down. Left knee, hug that into the chest. Square your hips. Step the left foot forward. Wide-legged low lunge. You're facing the back of your mat. Bend that left knee. Come to your fingertips. Side angle, spin the sole of your right foot down. Either stay on your left fingertips or forearm to thigh. Right arm reaches up. Breath in, breath out. Okay, here's an option. From side angle, maybe that left heel lifts a little bit. Maybe it lifts a lot. Maybe it's somewhere in between. You get to choose. From there, with that left heel lifted, warrior two. Find your breath. Good. So that left heel is still lifted. Press into the ball mat of that left foot to transfer the weight to the front right leg. Skandasana, top of the mat. Fingertips down. So that left leg is lengthening, right knee bends. Now we're going to use the toes, the right toes, to drive this into that modified pigeon. Right toes are going to turn to the upper right hand corner. Right knee follows. Right heel lifts. Stay up on your fingertips. Your back leg is like in that low lunge stance. Okay, so you don't need to be close to the floor at all in this version of pigeon. Breath in. Breath out. See if you can plant your palms here. And then step into high plank. Right foot meets the left foot. Option to move through Vinyasa. One last time. If you would like downward facing dog, feel free to take it. But eventually we'll meet back in child's pose. We'll kind of come full circle to where we started. Deep breath in and out. So meeting in child's pose, if you haven't made your way already to child's pose, go ahead. Soften knees, soften forehead. Few breaths here. So come up to a seat just briefly. Lift up and out of your child's pose. Here's what I'd recommend grabbing for this last. We're going to do a simple twist on our back, but we're going to start out in fetal position. So what I'd recommend is utilizing a blanket or a block or a pillow. In your fetal position, come to your left side. You can rest the side of your head, your ear, on this prop. So it creates more of a neutral spine, right? So you're on your left shoulder, your left hip, right palm is on top of left palm. You're going to begin to draw circles with that right arm. Big 360-degree circles. So right arm's going to sweep up and overhead, reach back behind you, down towards the hip, and then back to its starting position. Try it one more time, that big full circle. And now we're going to open up through the chest. Right shoulder moves towards the mat. So you're creating a capital T shape with the upper body. You can roll to the back of the head. And so you're keeping the bottom half of the body, the left knee is pointing off towards, or the knees pointing off to the left. Right hip on top. 3 breaths here in this twist. I like to stay on the back of my head versus adding the cervical spine into a twist. So I can feel this twist more throughout the torso, more throughout the length of the spine. It becomes much less about the neck. A couple more breaths here. So start to unwind out of your twist. You can just come onto the back body and then begin to roll off to the right side fetal position. I'm going to continue to face you, so I'm going to switch sides on my mat. So here we are resting on our right shoulder, our right hip in fetal. Right ear gets to rest on a prop of some sort. Left palm is now on top of right palm. Begin to draw those circles. Reach the left arm up and overhead. Reach it back behind you, down to the hip. Continue with those circles. And really use your breath here. One more full circle. Come all the way onto the back of your left shoulder with your next exhalation. Arms out wide, roll to the back of your head. Keep your knees pointing towards the right. If you normally do supine twist without anything underneath the back of the head, you can just notice the difference here. How does it feel? Does it allow you to open up a little bit more fully into your twist? Or does it feel like too much? If it feels like too much on the neck, get rid of your prop. Always just exploring how your body reacts to these shapes and then adjusting accordingly. This is very much the practice of yoga, cultivating discernment, knowing what is right for you and what does not work for you, what you can keep and what you can let go of. About 3 breaths here. from your twist, you can start to unwind, just rolling all the way onto the back. If there's any last shape or movement that you desire, like hugging your knees into the chest for Apanasana, or moving towards Happy Baby. If there's a particular Shavasana setup that you'd like to take, we have about 1 minute to lengthen out or to come to an upright seat for meditation, choosing whatever's going to work for you. Move the shoulders away from the ears. Take a big breath in through your nose. Open your mouth, exhale the air out. Let everything go, let everything rest. I always encourage a longer Shavasana if the time in your day allows, but if you need to move on, awaken your fingertips and your toes. Sweep your arms up and overhead. If you're on your back, breathe into the length of your body. Rolling off to a side, fetal position. Pressing into your hands, rise out and up, comfortable seat, just very briefly. I invite you to join me with this mudra of the right hand, kind of like chopping across your chest, thumb out, curling your left hand softly over that, hooking your thumbs together, closing the eyes, spine tall. So this is a mudra that symbolizes the unity of our yin and yang, our masculine and feminine, our sun and moon, our heat and cold, these opposing forces in our bodies, in our lives. We invite them to join together as one. From here, bowing your chin into your chest, just taking a moment to honor your effort and your practice. With reverence and gratitude to our teachers, past, present, future, and to the teacher within your own heart. Namaste, yogis. All right, everyone, I hope you all enjoyed your practice.